Port Charles had a way of holding its breath when danger lingered in the air. The harbor fog rolled in thick and low that evening, curling around the street lamps like secrets that refused to stay buried. Emma Scorpio Drake stood at the edge of the pier, phone clenched in her hand, heart racing as she reread the message that had changed everything. Sighted. Eastern Corridor. Alone. Possibly injured. It wasn't signed, but Emma knew exactly who it was about. Anna Devane. For weeks, Anna had been presumed dead, another casualty of a shadowy operation gone wrong. The town had mourned her quietly, the way people do when grief feels too heavy for words. Emma had tried to accept it, tried to believe that her grandmother's story had truly ended, but some instincts were inherited, and Emma's refused to let go. Now there was proof, or at least a whisper of hope. Emma slipped her phone into her jacket pocket and scanned the docks. She'd come alone, despite the risks, because involving the police or the WSB could spook whoever was holding Anna. If this was a trap, she would walk into it herself. If it wasn't, she might be the only one who could get Anna out alive. A soft footstep echoed behind her. "You shouldn't be here," said a low voice. Emma turned, startled, but relieved to see Robert Scorpio emerge from the fog. His eyes were sharp, worried, and unmistakably familiar. "I knew you'd find out. You always do." Robert sighed. "And I knew you'd do something reckless the second you did. Reckless runs in the family, and so does loyalty." Robert studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "All right. Tell me what you know." They moved quickly after that. The sighting had come from an old contact, someone Anna once saved who now claimed to have seen her near an abandoned medical facility outside the city. The place was officially condemned, forgotten by most, but perfect for someone who didn't want to be found. By the time Emma and Robert arrived, night had fully settled. The building loomed like a skeleton against the sky, windows dark, doors rusted. Emma's pulse thundered in her ears as they slipped inside. The air smelled of dust and antiseptic memories. Somewhere deeper in the building, a faint light flickered. They followed it. "Anna?" Emma called softly, unable to stop herself. A sound answered, barely more than a breath. They found her in a small examination room, seated on the floor, back against the wall. Anna Devane looked thinner, paler, but unmistakably alive. One arm was bandaged, her face bruised, but her eyes lifted the instant Emma rushed to her side. "Emma," Anna whispered, disbelief and relief colliding in her voice. "I knew you wouldn't give up." Emma's throat tightened as she hugged her grandmother carefully. "I'm getting you out of here, I promise." The reunion was cut short by the click of a gun. "Touching," said a man stepping into the doorway. His smile was cold, calculated, but very inconvenient. Robert moved in front of them instinctively. "Let them go," he said evenly. "This is between you and me." The man laughed. "It always is, Robert Scorpio. Anna's survival was never the problem. What she knows is." Anna straightened despite her injuries. "You're too late," she said calmly. "Your operation is already compromised." The man's smile faltered just enough. Emma's mind raced. She spotted a rolling metal tray near the wall, its wheels loose, unstable. As the man shifted his weight, distracted by Anna's defiance, Emma acted. She shoved the tray forward with all her strength. It crashed into his legs. The gun skidded across the floor. Robert lunged. What followed was chaos, shouting, footsteps, the sharp crack of something breaking. Emma barely registered it. Her focus was on Anna, helping her stand, guiding her toward the exit as alarms began to wail in the distance. They burst into the night air just as sirens approached. Robert emerged moments later, breathless but victorious. "Let's go," he said, "before this place gets any more attention." Back in Port Charles, the sun was just beginning to rise as Anna was settled into a hospital bed, safe,
alive, surrounded by family. Doctors moved quietly, efficiently, but the real healing had already begun. Emma sat beside her, holding her hand. "You saved me," Emma said softly. Emma smiled through tired eyes. "I was just listening to when you said the bravest thing you can do is show up for the people you love." Outside the room, Robert watched them, a rare smile tugging at his lips. The danger wasn't over, not by a long shot, but for now, hope had returned. And in Port Charles, hope was everything.